everyone, Synthetic Future here, and today we're going to take another look at Unfiltered Audio Silo as a gating and rhythmizer tool. So this is a follow-up to my previous video, so if you haven't watched that video, I would highly recommend doing so, because I'm not going to backtrack too much. We're just going to expand from that video into some things you can mess around with if you are interested in this concept. So in the previous video I did talk a little bit about automating parameters, and I want to show you a little bit more about things you can do with this. Now keep in mind I'm using Reaper here. Your automation may be different from DAW to DAW, so the exact ways of setting this up is something you are going to have to look up if you're unfamiliar with it. At least in Reaper we can click the little trim thingy here and it will show us all our automation lanes, and we are going to use a mask, we are going to use a rate, and we might want to play around with size a little bit. So those are the automation lanes I will be activating for now. And let's get this out of the way and let's get into it. So I'm going to use this specific preset. You can pause and copy the settings or whatever. Eventually these presets will be on my Gumroad, but for now they are not, because I'm still working on making a few more. So yeah, just copy the settings if you really want to have it that on. Otherwise, use your own settings. Important here is to put all the automation envelopes to square, because otherwise you are going to get undesired results for this specific use case, although you can definitely play around with not having them in square mode. And I'm just going to make an automation point for every beat. We have 8 beats in this specific example, so let's make 8 points. There we go. And now we just want to move these points around a little bit. If you move them up, you get more hits. If you move them down, you get less hits. That's the way this sequencer works. So we want to go a bit up and a bit down and a bit random. And let's do this. Let's see where we are. Also, I have Excellent Audio XO running in the background with the basic initialized beat. So let's do it like this. So now we get a little bit more variation, so that's good. And actually, I think I'm just going to use this for now. And as you saw, I didn't really plan anything. This is just dragging modulations around and seeing where it goes. Now, one thing that might be interesting is we have this little steady beat. We could do a quick little burst. And if we want to make a little burst, we need more grains. We need shorter grains so they don't overlap too much, and we want to have a mask that has a lot of hits. So where are we going to place this example? Well, I think right here might be nice. So we get a nice little prep right here. So we place the automation point. We want to use a 100% mask, so we generate a little burst of points. We want a few more points. Oh, I didn't make an automation point here. That's kind of important. 16s. There we go. So now we generate 16 little grains in that one count, and we want to make those a little bit smaller, so let's create a point here. Creating points is with shift click, and these grains should be a little shorter. Let's go for 16 triplets just for the sake of experimentation. This window is going to be very annoying to deal with. Let's put it here. Alrighty. So that didn't go exactly as planned. Why didn't that go exactly as planned? Let's see what happens here. There you go. It's probably just a little bit too short. So let's make it a little bit longer. So it actually has a little bit of time to grab something. There we go. That's much better. So let's grab these automation points. Oh, actually, let's do it lane by lane. So these can repeat. So it's 2, 4. So we can put them here. There. Thank you very much. There. And there. Okay, that's cool. So now we have 2 little bumps. We have a pretty considerable slowdown at this point with far less grains. As you can see, there's only 3 here in the entire circle. Well, there's more here. So we might want to make the grains a little longer here. I think the rate is probably good, but let's just add slightly longer grains here. So let's make 2 points. Now let's go for 8. So that's pretty cool. Now there's quite a bit of stereo going on, which I don't think works all that well for this specific case. So let's tone it down a little bit and let's see where we are. So that's pretty cool. I might want to make these a little longer. And one thing that could maybe be cool is if this last bit isn't in reverse, but if they are going forward. So we will go back in trim. We look up the reverse. That's right here. Once again, square points. You make a little square point here. And make a little square point here. And let's go. We need that there. There we go. So 0% reverse. Let's see how this goes. Let's start it here. Actually, this might be a cool effect to utilize as well. Oh, let's make little dents where the grains are moving forwards. Let's do it here. Skip 1, do it here. Skip 1, do that here. Skip 1. And we're into this. All right. Let's see how that works. Probably want to make these a little bit longer because once again these really short automations tend to be too short to notice. Let's try this. So that's pretty cool. And actually, if we want to make it even a little bit more interesting, we can take the shape. Now the shape in this specific case dictates how long the sound is up, because this is the volume, so it goes up and it goes down. And if we move the shape, it will get wider, so there will be a sound for a longer amount of time. And if we make the shape shorter, it will be more percussive. And when the grains are going backwards, it will be a short little blip at the end of the beat. So we might want to utilize this in this point to make a little, once again, we need to be set to square. We need one here, we need one here, we need one here and there. So let's make this even more percussive. Let's make this even more percussive. And let's make this less percussive. Just eyeballing here. Probably something like this. And as you can see, quite quickly you can get really intricate patterns going with minimal automation and well, close to zero effort really, because we're not thinking about what's going to happen. We're merely changing the mask to get a different rhythm, and we're adjusting the grain size and rate to fit that rhythm. So once we get to a faster kind of thing, we make the grains a little bit shorter, so it becomes more percussive. And when things slow down, we make the grains a bit longer to make it a little bit more drawn out. And this dictates our flow. And this is super open-ended because you can use this pattern, you can render it out, and you can look at where your gaps are and actually fill in those gaps with bass drums or percussion to line things up, because right now we're using a very static beat, of course, so the beat's always 1, 2, 3, 4, while the rhythm is all over the place. So if you want to refine this, you want to make sure your rhythmic part is accentuating the rhythm of this kind of stabby pad sort of deal. Anyways, this is kind of the concept I was talking to or alluding to use a fancy word, in my previous video, but I didn't really show you how you could tackle this. Of course, endless possibilities, because you can automate every beat or every other beat, or even micro stutters or things. I bet you could throw this on a hi-hat track and make some really weird trap hats if that's your jam. It's just an idea. Obviously, this isn't exactly what Silo was made to do. But that's the whole fun thing of these VSTs, especially Unfiltered Audio stuff. It's always very open-ended. It's always a tool made from a concept, and what the user does with it is completely up to them. And I think that's really cool. Enough rambling from me. If you have Silo, if you like these kind of trance-gatey, I don't know, is this EDM? Probably. Clubhouse? Something. Sort of ordeal, check it out. It works with any input, by the way. Just to hammer this home, let me just quickly dragging out the content here, but hey, someone has to do it. Let's just quickly load in Falcon and pray to the gods that my JDXA is actually seen as a MIDI controller, because I didn't test it. Need to make sure that the MIDI bypass is on. UVI Falcon. Nope, it is not being detected. Alrighty, well, technical difficulties. We'll just cut it out in post. There we go. categories, pads, classic analog, JP classic pad. That's a tad bit low. I'll have to go bright pad, maybe that's better. That's pretty good. Let's throw linear pad 100 just to fill it out a little bit. Let's bring that down an octave. Here we go. So there you go. Also works with soft synths if that's your jam. That's it for now. This was a little thing I wanted to show everyone. If there are any questions, leave them below in the comment sections. If there are any suggestions for things or things you want to see, just also leave them down below. If you enjoyed this video or if you got some inspiration from this, please leave a like and you can follow me along on this journey. Also in the description you will find the link to my Instagram account. That's where most of my stuff is these days. So if you want to see some more music related stuff, check out my Instagram. And that's it. See you around.